So there are two parts at Bern Steakhouse. There's what we just saw are the steaks, but now there's also the wine cellar. So there's on location in the restaurant. There's about a 20% of the bottles are here, 150,000, 200,000 are here. The rest is somewhere else. The rest being the total of bottles are about 500,000 bottles. So now we're going to go in what you have here.
Yes, this is where we keep the wines that we serve by the glass, red wines that is. And we have these, some of the good bit of age on them. Here is, for example, our Chateau Raspail, 1986 Côte d'Aron from a Gigondas that we're serving by the glass. Our oldest at the moment is this Chateauneuf de Pape, Chateau Fortier, 1975, so 37 years of age we can serve by the glass. Because Bern was buying wine in bulk for such a long time, so long ago, we're always serving offerings with very much aged wines that you simply won't find anywhere else. We can open them and pour glass after glass, bottle after bottle, night after night for many years. Now we're going to head down into the cellar.
So do you have a particular classification? If I go to one area of the cellar, I know I'm only going to find Bordeaux, or I'm not going to find Burgundy or other wines, or...
No, we don't. We use, everything is basically placed randomly. You'll notice these little white numbers all throughout the cellar. Every wine is assigned one of these 4-digit numbers, and these correspond to the same numbers you see when you look at our wine list next to each selection. So anytime we receive a new wine, we just place it in whatever bin is empty. So, you know, next Friday when we get our new wines
you need the whole row to be empty to place a new one, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we might place a new wine in 2558. And if you look at some of these bins, you know, here we have... Let's see here, we've got a Le Sicari Volant. This is just a California red wine. And then right next to this, we have a Cornas from Pere Anselme. So completely different wines in every bin.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for us because, you know, if somebody is new here, let's say we had a whole section full of Pere Anselme, they might not know the difference between the Cornas and the Gigondas and the St. Joseph. So we just find it by number, we bring it to your servers. It's very simple. It takes us about 30 seconds to retrieve just about any bottle anywhere in the cellar.
So now I see that every time you pull a bottle, the label is on the top of the bottle. So any bottle in any bin, I saw that walking around before. So is there a reason why it's like that?
Well, with any wine that gets more than a few years old, especially if it's unfiltered, it'll start to throw a sediment. So this 1980 Cornas is definitely going to have a sediment. If you look at it under this light here, you'll see these are remnants of the stems, the skins, the seeds, the greener parts of the grape that are suspended in a regular wine that start to settle on the bottom over the years. And when you're pouring your wine into your decanter, you don't want that mixed into your wine. So we keep every wine label up all the way out to your table, and then your server or sommelier, whoever's pouring the wine, can know that the sediment is going to be on this side, and they'll use a candle that they light from underneath. And that's how they know when to stop pouring, and they can see and keep the sediment from getting into your wine. So just a standard practice we have. Of course, it is a myth if you've ever heard that you turn wine. The truth is you just want to keep it as still as possible. So fortunately for us, the best thing is to do as little as possible. We just leave the wine exactly as it is, and we keep it roughly 50 to 55 degrees down here. So it's very important to keep a good temperature control, and that's how we preserve the wine here.
So on my left, I was touring a little earlier of the cellar. There's some rows of wines and wine and wine. So now I want to know what's in front of me that I have not been to.
Well, right here we have where we serve the white wines that we have by the glass. We've got about 40-50 selections right here, and you know, really good selection. We have Burgundies, we've got California, we've got Washington, Germany. Just about any white wine you could be in the mood for. We're going to have something up your alley.
And I see different bottles here, different shapes, and yeah,
right
they look like
the Madeiras
pour,
and our sherries that we serve by the glass. We have, I believe, well over 200 selections right now, going back to 1827. So up to 185 years of age that people can try just by the glass from Madeiras. And these are good for at least 5 to 10 years or so after they're uncorked. So however long it takes us to pour through a bottle, it doesn't matter.
Oh, 1920 here. Unfortunately, we can't see with the light, but this is a 1920. So, and then
right here we'll have a 1908. Upstairs in the dessert room, we keep our oldest, which is a 18.
So, and then what do you
1827.
have back there? You got more wines. What is there? Any?
Yes, if you follow me up this ramp. This in here is.
Oh, this is some. There's a lock on this door.
Yes,
those
this
are not
is the rare room.
This is the rare room.
This is the stash. We keep our oldest, our most valuable, most highly sought after wines here in this room. Now, if you'll notice, we wrap all of these in plastic. I don't know if you'll be able to see it through the grating there, but we do that just to preserve the labels. They are loosely wrapped because the corks still have to stay exposed to the humidity in the air. So we do that just to preserve the labels. The wines in this room right now, last I checked, we're going all the way back to 1792.
And then what makes the borderline between a wine on the other racks to the safe here?
Well, anything especially rare. That's the key distinction. Most of these wines are going to be a little more expensive, going to be a little older, but the main thing is they are just rare. We do have some young vintage wines here. We do have wines, last I checked, as inexpensive as $200. So not everything is the most expensive or the most old, just anything that's particularly hard to get a hold of.
And that's a view of it on the top here.
We do pull wines from this room almost every night of the year. It sees a lot of action. One of the most amazing things about it, if you ask me, is the fact that many of these wines are kept very affordable. Many of them listed well below auction value, or just a fraction of it in many cases. So for example, if you look right over here, in this wooden box on the floor, you'll see our two most expensive bottles. The one on the left being a 2007 Romane Conti Magnum. I believe that's running close to $15,000. It's a 14.6 or something like that. But the most expensive on the right, that is our 1947 Chateau Latour double Magnum bottle, listed at $30,000. Now, we didn't even know we had that till close to 2 years ago when our head sommelier found it, tucked away up on one of the shelves here.
So I imagine you don't have a computerized wine list. It's all done by the heart and by the hands, right?
We've got computers now, but we just made that switch, I think it was about 10 years ago. We switched everything over to computer databases. So naturally, as you can imagine, some things fell between the cracks, and this was one of those bottles. Now, it's not unusual for us to find wines that are off record, just never anything of this magnitude before. We didn't know what it was worth, so we contacted some auction houses over in London, and they indicated that that bottle could be worth, at auction, up to or over $50,000. So here we are at a restaurant only asking $30,000 for it. So
it's a steal.
It is. So if you're on the fence about it,
one more good excuse to go to Tampa is to go to Bern's and get the steal.
You almost can't afford not to buy that wine. That's right. I mean, it's really not a matter of whether it's worth it. It's just a matter of, is someone ready to come and drink it yet? Because of course, every bottle that's sold here has to be opened on site. Nothing is sold online or taken out of here unopened as a package or anything like that. So this was really, Bern did this to bring people into the restaurant. And really, what he built up for us here is a collection that simply is unattainable anymore. With the wine market the way it is today, it would be unthinkable to try and build a collection like this and keep any sort of, reachable price point on these wines. But what he has established for us here with his obsession with wine is absolutely, something you won't find anywhere else in the world. We have roughly 6,800 different labels down here, so if you wanted to, we could bring you a different bottle of wine every single night for probably up to the next 20 years.
Which
we're
is
receiving
good
about a
because
dozen new wines every single week as well.
they're saying that wine is good for your health.
Oh yeah, definitely. Be really healthy if you come here every night. That's
every
for
night
sure.
for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So and then what is this huge magnum that I'm seeing here?
This right here, if I recall correctly, is a Premier Cru Burgundy. Let's see here. The label's a little scuffed on this one, but let's see here. This is a Nuit Saint-Georges, and I'm lost to let's see. I'm not familiar with that particular producer, so I couldn't tell you offhand who that is.
Yeah, it's a Premier Cru. Yeah.
Yes, but
So
that's
we are in the off-size bottle section here. So all the bottles that don't fit on the regular rack are stored here because they're bigger and they have odd shapes. Some of them are bigger, and some, like the German wines, have very different shapes. So we're going to look at some of those. I'm getting drunk just looking at all this. So show me one of those German wines that have
some of these box style bottles and these German wines. So for example, right here, we've got a 1976 Casteller Schlossberg, I believe, Silvaner Baronauschlese. So we keep those on these shelves because they're an odd shape. Now I believe this bottle style started back in the 17th century to prevent counterfeiting. Some producers, it's their tradition to still use that bottle to this day. And we have quite a few of these. Last I checked the list, we had these going all the way back to 1946, German white wines in bottles such as this. So, I mean, we go back really far. And just incredible quality on a lot of white wines that, a lot of people wouldn't think would last that long. And they do hold up here and drink really well.
Well, thank you so much for the tour.
No, you're very welcome.